What's up, dudes? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing level 7 of Bandit and going over some output redirection and what that means and how to use it. So let's go ahead and jump in. I am logged in currently to Bandit 6. This is level 7. It's always one more than the current level that you're logged into. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it wants. Obviously, it's saying the password is stored somewhere on the server this time, so it's not necessarily in the home folder like it has been up to this point. There's also some more parameters here. It's owned by user Bandit 7, it's owned by group Bandit 6, it's 33 bytes in size. So we already know how to search for a file of a certain size using the find command or with the ls-la command. But let's go ahead and jump in and see if we can see anything in the home folder. No. Let's go ahead and just do a -a to be safe. And we do have the .bash logout, bash rc, and profile. And if we wanted to cat, like bash rc, for example, we would see, and I'm going to actually just pipe that into less so we can page through it. Let's see. So bash rc is just a configuration file for your bash shell. So I'll tell you right now that, just so we don't waste time, all of these files here are not important for this level. These are normal configuration files that most users end up having. So we're going to look elsewhere, especially because it says on here that it's somewhere on the server. I'm assuming that it wants us to look in other places other than the home folder. So the way that we're going to do this is we are going to use the very robust find command, because this thing really gets the job done a lot of the time. So what we know about this file is that it's owned by Bandit 7, it's owned by the group Bandit 6, and we know its size. And we can use those pieces of information with find in order to find what we're looking for. So in order to find the owner, or search by the owner, we just do the -user command. So -user would be Bandit 7, because that's who it's owned by. And the -group that it's owned by is Bandit 6. So we'll go ahead and specify that. And then last time we did size. So -size 33, and remember, C is for bytes. It's not B, it's C. So let's go ahead and run that. And oh, we did forget something though. We need to specify where we want find to look. So in our case, we could say we want it to look here, but it's not going to find anything here because we don't have anything in this folder. And the level specified that it's somewhere on the server, right? So we don't know where. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start from the very top, or the root. So the root directory is just a slash, and that means it's going to search every file on the system that we have permission to search, because we won't have permission for everything. But this is going to search every file that we have permission to search, and let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Okay, so there is a lot of output here, and we get a lot of permission denied, right? And so it's kind of hard to parse through this, and I suppose we could try to parse through this and see, you know, what one doesn't have permission denied, and maybe we could, you know, find it in that way. But once again, we're not trying to make more work for ourselves, we're trying to make less work. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something called output redirection. And in this case, we're going to redirect the errors, the permission denied errors, and we're going to throw them away because we don't want to see those. So what we are going to do is we're going to do this, and this is going to look a little weird. But bear with me. So what this does, I'll go over standard input, standard output, standard error later, But what you need to know for now is that 2 denotes what we call the standard error. And the standard error is anything that throws an error when you try to run it. So what we're saying here is that we want to take any errors and we want to redirect them into the /dev/null directory. And the /dev/null directory is a special directory, which is basically a black hole. This is where files go to die. You're basically throwing these away, and we could redirect the errors to a file if we wanted to. We could say /home/cali/errors, and it would create a file in our home directory for all of these errors, and it would place those in there. But we don't really care about them. We don't want them. So we're going to do dev null just so we can throw them away and get the output that we want. So let's go ahead and hit enter, and we can see that right here we've got one thing that we're allowed to access, and it happens to be bandit7.password. Now that sounds like a pretty interesting file name to me. But once again, I don't want to type all this in. This is a lot of typing, and I don't really care for it. So we can actually further take this and just get the command to print out the password for us all in one go, one single command. And there's 2 ways to do this, and I'll show you both of them. One way is specific to when you're using find, so I'll show you that first. When you're using find, you can use something called -exec or -execute that will execute a command after it runs find. And you can use the output of find as the input for this command. So we know that in order to read a file, we need to use cat. So we're going to do that. And then we are going to use these curly braces to tell it that we want to use the output of find as the input for cat. And then we need to tell it that we're done executing. So the way that we do this is \apostrophe, and that will tell it that we're done executing the command. So if we run this, we will actually cat the file and get the password all in one go. Super nice, just one-liner, gets us where we need to go. We don't have to do a lot of typing. I guess this was kind of a lot of typing, but you know, I digress. The second way that you can do this, and this is not specific to find, is you can use backticks. And backticks are, let me go back to the beginning here because you have to do this at the beginning. Backticks are the key that's above your tab key, at least on my keyboard. It's the same key as the tilde key. So the way that we can do this is we can take the output of find and use it as the command line argument for cat. And that's this is the syntax for that. So you surround the command that you want to use as the argument in backticks. So this will take the output of this command and use it as the argument for cat. So if we go ahead and hit enter, it'll give us the password again. You may be wondering why, since we learned a little bit about pipes, you may be wondering why I just don't pipe it into cat. And the reason for that is that it doesn't work. So if you go ahead and do this here, and you try to pipe this into cat, you're not going to get what you want. You're going to get the name of the path again. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm pretty sure the reason that this doesn't work is because cat needs to take a command line argument as its argument, and it can't take it from the direct input. It doesn't take standard in as its argument. Again, I'm not terribly sure, so don't quote me on that. But the important thing is this doesn't work. These two things do work. So we've got our password. We can go ahead and copy that. Make sure that we save it into our very important level 7 document. And as always, we can exit this and log into level 7 just to be sure that it works. And lo and behold, we are logged into level 7. So yeah, that was Bandit level 7. I'll go ahead and cut it off here. Go ahead and watch the previous ones if you haven't seen them. You know, we've covered a lot up to this point. And yeah, till next time, guys, take care.